So I heard this verse in church ever since I was a kid, and it was Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Now, for you non-church folk, that basically underlies the concept of generational wealth, which I'm sure we've all heard of. I'm going to introduce myself first, and I'm going to circle back to that. My name is Joseph Ruggerio, the Executive Director of Rouge Lion Digital Marketing. And in celebration of Donpreme Developers MENS Financial Fellowship Month, I wanted to share my thoughts on the importance of what being financially empowered means and what that kind of looks like for me. So the first question I've been prompted to answer is things that I'm doing currently to empower myself financially, as well as what I'm considering in the future. So I want to throw this back a bit because a lot of my financial success to this point in time stems all the way back to high school with a mentor that I had met who's really transformed my life in so many different ways and avenues. So as a 17-year-old kid, you're very ignorant and naive to the fact that tomorrow will ever come. And with that said, you don't understand the true value of money either. So for me as a stupid young high schooler, I'd gotten an email from a mentor of mine that had totally transformed my life. I'm going to read it off here word for word. Seriously, you need in all capitals, to save money in 3 ways as follows. Number 1, a retirement fund. As an absolute minimum, you need to save at least $2,000 per year in a Roth IRA account. If you consistently save at least $2,000 per year, starting at your age, I was 17, maybe turning 18. I was a young kid, remember, dumb at that, also remember that. At your age, by the time you retire, at the age of 65, you'll be a multi-millionaire just by saving at least $2,000 per year and allocating towards a Roth IRA. This is why no one has an excuse not to retire rich. But the key is to continuously invest each and every year. You can have money deducted from each of your paychecks so you won't have to miss the money. You'll need to speak with a financial advisor to set up a Roth IRA. Just go to your local bank account. They will have somebody to assist you. Be specific. Tell them, number 1, you want a Roth IRA. Number 2, you want to be aggressive in your investment because you are so young. And number 3, you want money deducted from each and every paycheck. In time, as money grows, you will need to upgrade to more of a skilled financial advisor, but any major bank will be able to assist you in creating this retirement account. With that said, a retirement account is such an easy avenue for you to make money. Just the fact that at a bare minimum that you're able to allocate $2,000 per year with a maximum of $6,000 per year, and you can retire a multi-millionaire at 65, come on now, it's a give me. It's an absolute layup. So for myself, who's an overachiever, I've always wanted to do more than just the bare minimum. So when I was 18 years old, I was in college constantly hustling, trying to make money, whether it was cutting hair, whether it was being a tutor, whether it was doing just about anything I was because I was hungry, on top of playing college football and other activities. The biggest thing in the back of my head was making that $6,000 that I could allocate towards a Roth IRA at 18 years old. So with that said, that was the first breakthrough change for me to be empowered for today. And not only that, for my financial future. Number 2, an emergency fund. You need to work on saving at least 12 months worth of operating expenses, i.e. if all your expenses, rent, car, insurance, fuel, food, etc., total $3,000, you need to work to build at least a $36,000 emergency fund safety net that you do not touch. This will obviously take more time, but you need to consistently work to save that 12-month reserve because it is important. You should put this money in a savings account where you can't easily access the money and just keep adding. Don't touch it because that thing will actually collect dividends as well. And then number 3, a living fund in a completely different separate account, either savings or checkings. Work on saving money for a car, a down payment on a house, or any other big items that you want for personal enjoyment. Now with that, my mentality has always been to live frugally. You know, live cheap. Make sure that you're doing things so that you can constantly save. Saving is such a huge thing, and there's a lot of people in our generation of this mentality that, hey, let's travel now, let's do this while we're young, let's live like Khaled, young, dumb, and broke, because who wants to live that way? When in reality, half these people won't ever be able to retire. They'll be working until they're 80 years old, when you have to get hip replacements, when you have to get new knees. Who wants to do that? Who wants to work when you're that old? So a little bit about how I'm empowered myself currently and future plans has been dedicated towards a retirement fund. I've opened up a business, I've developed an emergency fund, and I have a very frugal living fund. So what are some things that I've learned early that has helped kind of guide me towards where I am today financially? Is, like I said, surrounding myself with good mentors. You're only as intelligent as the 5 people you surround yourself with. So with that said, if you can find somebody that is there to be able to influence you in the right direction, or be able to give you tips and feedback on certain financial avenues that you can really astronomically increase your income and your net worth, you need to be surrounding yourself with those types of people. So for the word of advice to other men who desire financial empowerment, seek out people who are smarter than you. Seek out mentors. Seek out the certain information that's so at your disposal today. We live in a digital world where we can go on the internet, we can find information, we can go on YouTube, we can go on so many different platforms that can really give you the education that they don't teach you in school. Not only that, you know, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Just like I opened up this video with that verse that I used to hear in church all the time. In God's book, a good man thinks generationally. He does not just prepare for his for his children's future, but more for his grandchildren's future. Even more, a good man recognizes that most important inheritance is not just wealth, but it's godly character and a good name. So the fact that you're already thinking generations ahead of what your family already has is something that's so powerful. And going back to a quote my football coach used to always say was, a boy does what he wants to, a man does what he has to. So, you know, open a business, open a retirement account, open an emergency fund, a living fund, and live your life. Don't be 50 years old and you're not able to retire and you're still working up until you're 80. Work because you want to when you're 80. Don't work because you have to. With that said, my name is Joseph Ruggerio, the Executive Director of Rouge Lion Digital Marketing. And thank you, Donpreme Developers, for having me on Men's Financial Fellowship Month. I'm thankful that I was able to kind of give my input and my thoughts on what and how important it is to me to be financially empowered. And listen, if you haven't heard about the life insurance avenue to make money, to start up your own bank, make sure to reach out to me. You can find us on any of our social media pages at Rouge Lion.